How important do you think it is to take a break from making music once in a while, or take a break from a certain project and do something completely different?
I think it's very important. I think that if you do too much of the same thing, that's kind of where a lot of people run into trouble and get maybe stagnant. I think that I always think there's Westway to the World, that Clash documentary where Joe Strummer says his biggest regret is that they never took a break, because that's kind of what broke up the Clash, is that they just went fully for the whatever, like 7 years, that they were just completely burned out. And I think that taking breaks, trying different things, even stop making music, don't listen to music for a while, I think that that's great. I think I wrote the last song of this record like a year and a half ago, and I haven't been doing remixes or doing any production for the last year. I've been kind of focusing more on how to play live and be better at singing and stuff like that, and it gets me more excited to make another record. I haven't, written a bass part for a Vampire Weekend song in a very long time. I'm very excited for the next time I get the chance to do that. It's I think it's good to do different things and take breaks. I think it's very helpful. I like it, at least.
Yeah. So in order to get like a fresh look on things, or to get excited again, because you get bored with stuff if you're doing it for too long, or
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. Like you've said in interviews, like, I don't want to be complacent, and you seem like someone who wants to push himself to move forward and do new stuff every time.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I read that you were kind of scared of failure at first when you started making solo music.
Yeah, totally. I think that it's not like a complaint or anything, but when I was 16 and writing songs, I wasn't thinking about success or failure.
Right.
And then getting to play in this successful band suddenly introduced the idea of failure. So I remember in 2009, we played this festival called Reading in England, and probably played to like 20,000 people. And I stayed behind in London to DJ, like very small venue. It was more just like playing music in between sets at this place called the Camden Lock Tavern. And there were maybe 20 people in the room, and there was like a folk singer singing with a guitar. And I remember thinking I would be so scared shitless to be in his position right now, because I like have no confidence in my voice, I have no confidence in my songwriting. Just to like get up on stage in front of 10 people, I had no confidence for that. And it really just kind of took time, and even DJing and having like incredibly shitty DJ gigs, that's a great way to know that I guess experiencing a form of failure makes failure a lot less scary.
Right.
And so I think that like having a terrible DJ gig is actually a great way to like, in a way, build confidence. It maybe is a little bit counterintuitive. But doing that kind of helped me like get to the point where I was able to like sing on a record and work really hard at it, even though it sounded like complete garbage when I first started trying to sing on a song I wrote. That like you just try and get the vocal performance better, and that's kind of something that I had to work through with making this record. Right. I mean, one thing that was kind of nice in working on this record is realizing that there were no expectations. There wasn't like a ton of people clamoring for the solo record of a bass player from a popular band. So that's not for me, and that's like, in a way, because there were no expectations, I could kind of just work through it in privacy in a room where I live, and like all the self-doubt is something that I could work through in private, which was a nice thing.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
Maybe one last question. You must feel quite double about your career with Vampire Weekend, in the sense that you obviously feel very indebted to them, and like you owe a lot to them, but at the same time, but at the same time, you want to establish yourself as an independent artist, and you want to sort of leave the nest, or is that not how
I'm not leaving, but the ideal is that this album is taken on its own, and it's, hopefully it finds people like it, it finds its own audience, but I can't, it's like such a champagne problem to complain about the association of the band. It's like that's very important and a very big part of my life, and obviously very grateful for what we've gotten to do so far. So I don't mind. I never like my attitude is that as long as people are like talking about the record, it's fine. I don't mind people calling it a side project. I mean, I've never worked on a record as hard as I worked on this one, but people can call it honestly like a piece of shit for all I care, just as long as they're like engaging with it in some way. That's very much my attitude towards it. So I have no like animosity or bitterness or whatever from like getting to play in a successful band. So it's all good vibes for me. Yeah. And I feel very lucky because I play bass in a band with, you know, one of the best producers right now, Rostam, and one of the best lyricists right now, Ezra. And I think being in a band with those guys for now 9 years, you can learn a lot. I mean, I learned a lot from Chris Thompson as well. And I think that, you know, my record's very, very different from the band stuff. I don't think there would be like a 7-minute techno instrumental dropped in the middle of any of the first 3 Vampire Weekend records, and it would make sense. But I think that there's still always going to be an influence from, you know, traveling the world and playing music with 3 incredibly talented people.
Yeah, sure. And it's not like being in a successful band is like a marriage where having something on the side is like that's moral or something.
Yeah.
Because you're married, right?
I am married. Yes. I'm I believe firmly in fidelity.
Okay.
And you know, I mean, other people have arrangements. That's not the nature of my marriage. But yeah, that's very different in the band.
Yeah. Well, all right. I thought this was a very interesting talk.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Sure. Whenever you're back.
Sure.
You're planning on coming back, right?
Absolutely. As soon as possible.
Sounds good. All right.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.